Or maybe it just becomes completely, it's boring because nothing's happening after it. So in case you've just started this and you're not familiar with sort of the way things work in this parators net, how we parators communicate, we during our time of communicating, and we could call it a video blog, so that's what it is. But we have certain specific structures and pieces in place to make it accessible without over editing, without mediating too much, without saying, I think you need this from me now. I'm not looking at you, right? I am still confused about exactly where to look. But, I've got a great friend. He's a truly good man, and I love him. I love him because and I call him Samwise, because he's faithful, loyal, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, reverent, etc. No, actually, the word loyal, and I'm not making a big deal of that, the word loyal. What I really mean to say, is that he's always seen the good in me. And he's just not worried about the bad in me, which I appreciate. I've needed that through the years. I really have. I've known him for, a while. 38 years about. So, yeah, something like that. Yeah, a long time. And throughout, I haven't seen him. I've been lost touch with him over periods of time. Come back together, but that's the one thing, the constant. He sees the good in me. Thank you, Samwise. Not everybody does. I have enough, negative qualities that most people are really happy to see those things. It's so obvious, Whereas you, Samwise, Kanji, he's quite a guy, Samwise. I don't mean to confine you or consign you or whatever the right word is to a particular role. I'm just saying you've done something really helpful to me of the order that Samwise did to Frodo, just by being there and just being. And when, that's so important. And you talked about how important things need to be edited, because you don't want to, waste your time. And you, as a journalist, and now a novelist, and I have to say, I love your work. I think it's the best. I think it's better. Your story, this future time with the little drones that are so tiny, the microscopic drones that just follow people around and stuff. And everybody gets upgraded. They get their systems upgraded when new releases come out. All that stuff. It's very clever and well, fun to read. I like reading your stuff. I hope other people will feel that way, and I hope you really make it big when that stupid publishing system finally allows it to come out. This archaic system is keeping your work from coming out. But so anyway, you were big on editing, and I realized that what's evolving through this parroting thing is that this is a piece that needs to develop much more, because parroting is about unedited stuff. That doesn't mean you can't edit it, but it's stuff that is meant to be shared in its raw form, or with the flow that it has, its natural flow, not a kind of, okay, here we're going to set it up so that people will be able to, they'll get it here, and then we'll move into that. And I don't, again, Samwise, if you're listening to this, I don't want you to think I'm criticizing you in any way. I'm just talking about what I see as what parroting, the editing in parroting is of a different nature. It's really finding the segments that work. And it might not be for everybody, but I think it's for anybody who has greater facility, more connections between their verbal processes and their vocal production, and the whole thing about how you organize that. But people who are more connected, not necessarily more accomplished, but more connected. That their neurological system is more connected to speaking than it is to writing. And actually, I would say that I think that's true for most people, except, say, the most talented writers who just can't speak. I think the thing is, writing is a discipline. And if you go through the discipline of learning to write, you can develop a really strong structure. You can develop tightness and so on. And, well, hey, I think if you can do that with writing, I mean, yes, you can also do it with different advantages and disadvantages with speaking. Speaking in and of itself is less amenable to saying, okay, let's take these thoughts and lay them out visually, and then work on them. I mean, there's definitely something to be said about that, and that it's that connection. I think what I'm now realizing is that people who have a certain kind of verbal/visual, they're strong now. Their connections are greater that way. In other words, the writing the words, the way they're written out, is like outline. People who are good at making notes that they can then read, that they do read, not just can. I mean, I write notes that are readable. I just don't go back to them because my connection is not via that more visual/verbal. You know, there are people who are visual and nonverbal. They're, fine artists, for example, who really, they might be articulate, but they're not. Their articulateness is not. It doesn't come out either through their mouth or through writing it. They are very articulate in terms of expressing purely visual things. And music, same thing. And then, of course, there are people who are mixed, that, they're composers versus jazz composers. There's composers who write, and then there are composers who just make it as it happens. And, of course, they're different. They're different. So, this is going to cut off soon, which means I've got to get back to work. That's all. I don't need to wrap it up. You heard it, and if you want to hear more, either listen for more stuff, because I keep the important themes keep coming back and back and back. And since parroting is largely is an individual growth process, I need to hear myself. I need to produce these ideas that are flitting around inside my head. I need to get them out, engage that whole production subsystem, as well as engage the whole system that hears it and hears my words and does whatever it does with it. And all of those three things, the internal thought process, the production, the reception, that's now more multimodal. And my experience is that multimodal leads to greater access. And greater access to the whole range of one's intelligence leads to greater possibilities. More likely to connect the reality around us with what we have, or what we've gotten throughout all of our lives.